So in my last video, I showed you guys many different types of slides. And in my video before that, I showed you guys how to make a basic slide. And I enjoyed that so much that I decided to try and make a perfect super slide. So that's what this video is going to try and be about. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my build tool here. I gotta clean out all this extra stuff that's floating around. I'm going to go over here to the plus tool in my toolbox. And I'm going to just add a block real quick. And now I'm going to use the resize tool to extend this block and flatten it out a little bit. And if your tool doesn't let you smooth out your block like how I'm doing this, go over to the left side of your screen on your resize tool and set your increment to 0.0001. And then it should let you do this. Next, I'm going to make sure that this block is about the same size, or not the same size, but about the same sort of like direction as my character. It's something that can't be very well described, but I'm just going to make sure that it's as wide as my character. There we go. There's a word that can describe it. Part of how I'm going to do this is I'm just going to use another block that has a color, like a measurement stick, to make sure that my character fits inside of it. Right? And then I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger than myself. This way, that when my character slides down it, it doesn't bump the sides and everything. You can do it however you want on your side, but this is how I find easiest to make machines. Next, I'm going to copy this base piece. So, all I do is click on it, click Shift-C. Now I made a copy. Another thing I'm going to do is in Roblox, materials have physical properties. Is I'm going to make both of these pieces ice. So I'm going to hold Shift, click, click, go over to this little wheel in my toolbar, and change the material of these pieces from plastic to ice, because ice is more slippery, which will make the slide easier to use. Next, we're going to design our slide piece. So, we're going to go ahead and make a copy of this once more, and recolor this piece purple. The reason for this is that it's a nice sharp color that we can see. And now we're going to resize it and make it into sidebars. Now if you don't know how to resize, it's over on the right side in your toolbox right up here. That's the resize tool. And both the resize tool and the move tool have an increment thing that you can adjust. And you should always set it to 0.0001 because that's the cap, and cap means, not cat, cap. Cap means the maximum, the top, or the very highest or smallest that you can get it to be, essentially, in this case. That was very poorly described, so if you don't understand, I understand. And then we just copy this block, set it on this side, and now we have our slide piece. It's just a piece of the slide, of course. I'm going to copy my ruler and set it on this side. As you can see, my character is going to fit, of course. And this shows where we are in the process of making our perfect slide. But the next step is we want to copy this whole entire thing. So now we want to click off in the distance, drag our mouse clicker, let go, and that will select everything we got going on here. Then we're going to click Shift-C, drag it over, let go of it, click and drag again, and now we're going to paint all of this one color, so we know what it is. I'm going to paint it green, and how you paint is this little bucket over here in your toolbar. And remember, always the little things that go on inside of those tools will always be on the left. Yeah, who knows? We'll just say yes. Then, what we're going to do is we're going to remove our ruler so that it doesn't interrupt what's going on. And then we're going to get this all set up for us to use. So I'm going to go ahead and lift my piece up here and just do a little bit of a test. You always want to test it. And before I even get started, I want to make a copy of this piece so that I'm not using my original piece. So select all of it, hit Shift C, drag that out, and then just lift it up. And then we can just leave it in this position actually and add legs to it. This will just be a test. And how we can add legs is we can just copy pieces of it off and color them white. And you guys know how to paint now. And then, there you go, you got one leg. Now we got 2 legs. And now we got all 4 legs. Now we sort of got a platform. And then, from here, we can work our way up. So now I'm going to copy this thing again, and how you select stuff slowly, like what I just did, is you click. Well, you don't click, you hold Shift, then you click, click, click. And now I have everything selected. And I hold Shift C, and I'm making a copy. And I'm going to angle this thing like this. And how I did that is I used the rotate tool right here. And we're just going to slowly slide this in, and we're going to look for any differences. As you can see, there is differences, and because of that, I want to slide it out. How you're looking for differences is we're looking at this crack right here. You don't want that crack to, like, pop up and make a hill. So we want to paint this like a white so we can see the difference between them. As you can see this little line. And now I'm just gonna continue building my test slide, right? Taking my blocks down, trying to make it all work. And I'm just gonna have them set underneath each other so then I slide perfectly. And I'm gonna try and put a turn in my test slide. And then after I'm done building my test slide, I'm going to try and build my super slide. Because I don't want it to be imperfect so that I slow down on these turns. And that's the reason we're trying to design a perfect piece to hook everything together with. But as you can see, I still have little imperfections. Some people who build slides like this, who I've seen build slides like this in Roblox, build them so perfectly there's no imperfections. Don't know how they do it. But then again, this is only like the 3rd time I've ever built a slide in Roblox. So now I'm going to go ahead and sit and test this. As you can see, I slide way better on this slide than I slid on that slide or that slide. So now that I'm done with my test slide, I'll build a super slide. So this is pretty enjoyable, right? I hope your guys' slides are going pretty well. And I'm going to now go ahead and just copy my platform that I have right here. And move it over here. And lift it way up in the sky. And just select the supports and go over to the resize tool and stretch them out. Now I'm going to need a ladder to get up there. So I'm going to go to the add tool and add a truss. And then go to resize, stretch it out. Bam. Probably have to copy that, get the rest of the distance. Climb on up there. It's funny looking. Now you can see that we have our super slide start point. Now we can start building our super slide. Just gotta give myself a second. Now I'm gonna click on this platform like this. Click, click, click. Now make sure when you're doing that you're holding shift, because that's what lets you select more than one thing at once. Oop, I think we might have had a bug. Nope. Then you click Shift C, make a copy, paint it white, and then rotate it just slightly, and connect it. Right? It doesn't have to be perfect, I figured out down there. It just has to sit like beneath it so you don't bump into it. Now I'm just going to go down and make a bunch of curves and stuff. And you guys know how to copy, it's just Shift-C, and you guys know how to move, it's this little pointer thing. But if you don't know how to, this thing's the Move tool, this thing's the Resize tool, and this thing's the Spinny tool. And as we go down, I just make it look all fancy. Ah! I fell down. Broke my own rule. Just remember not to stand on something you're copying or moving, because there's no collisions when that happens like this. Here, I'll show you. Like that. I showed it in one of my previous videos, but apparently I forgot one of my own rules and stood on something that you shouldn't stand on. Now I'm going to try and put in a turn. Turning's always fun on these things. Okay. I might not be able to finish this all in one video, so you might have to watch a second half to see the big finale of the super slide, sadly. Oh, wait. Okay, there's a trick that can help you do this quicker. I tried this on the train thing, and it sort of worked. If you get on your Move tool, click off in the distance, and then hold Shift and then click and drag, you can select all your turn pieces at once, hit Shift-C, copy them, drag them, and then rotate them, and then connect that to your turn. Now it's not going to be as custom as you want it to be if you're going for a custom look, but I'm not going for a custom look, I just want a super slide. So there we go. Now mine like shoots around this way, and I don't necessarily need this to be super tiny every time, so I could use normal to like extend it, and then I can like, copy this, right? Once again, make a copy of that, and then rotate it. Be beautiful, right? It already sort of looks like a train, as you notice that roller coasters and whatever these things are called, water park slides, water slides, are like a lot like trains. You just sort of ride them. We might be able to fit this all into one video. We'll see. Uh-oh, someone's gonna ride it. Dude, ride it. Yep, he rode it. As you can see, it works, clearly. Okay. Something you also should make sure of while you're making this, see how these little corners stick out? That could stop someone from sliding down the slide if those get too close together. Just as much as these little bumps can. Just thought I should mention that. Get this perfect here. Okay. We're pretty close to the bottom. Oh, there's room for another turn. Okay, it looks like it's all going to fit into one video. Beautiful. So it looks like you guys are going to be able to see the super slide in action. You already saw that dude over there ride down it a little bit. Let's make sure this is all lined up. I probably am going to get stuck on one of those little imperfections on the slide. Because, as I said in the last video, you want to have no imperfections. You want to try and make it as perfect as possible. It's alright if there's like a wee bit of imperfections. Like, as you can see, I didn't merge these together. I just stepped them down beneath each other like stairs. And you can still slide down them because you like bump down them. But these little stickouts could stop someone from riding it. So you can see my super slide is pretty simple. You go ahead, man. Oop, not close enough to the edge. There we go. And there's the super slide. Works like a dream. It's beautiful. He enjoys it. I enjoy it. You enjoy it. It's epic. Build one of your own. Create an epic super slide. That's all I got for you.